Hey, I'm here. Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for just supporting me over the past couple of weeks since I have opened up myself to doing these astrological readings and reports. I've just had so much love and so many people from all over the world, Canada, parts of Australia, Brazil, Italy, Japan, Norway. Even it's just like, wow, people out there really are seeing me and have been watching what I've been doing over the past few years. And I just woke up this morning and just felt love. Like, it means a lot to me because it places value in the knowledge that I have, and it places value in what I do. I have conducted many readings over the years, and many reports. For those of you that have had readings from me, and thank you so much. Just thank you for sending in your feedback. The feedback has been really astounding. Accuracy and knowledge that is verified back to me, which is accurate. And this also helps me in turn grow this aspect of my business. Ultimately, I am now going to be in the next year actually building an art studio in the back of my house. So it's it's pretty wild, but this is a big goal of mine, and it will be a very high kind of studio type farmhouse slash shed building. This is a dream that I have had for a very long time in my mind. I've always wanted to have a proper space with lots of natural light, preferably just like a slate or concrete floor with a nice big space with a high roof, because I am going to be starting to work on a brand new exhibition next year, which I have also mentioned. Before I start my new series looking at polarity, I will be actually doing a series of giant paintings of animals, and they are all going to be side profiles of kind of apex predators. So, how much I love drawing and painting animals. And I'm going to be doing a series of these before I actually go in and conduct and start a very heavy body of work working on paintings of angels and demons, which will be my show eventually, coming up into 2026. So I just wanted to share this with you. For those that have been asking me, when am I going to start? I'm starting as soon as I can. I will be building a shed in my backyard. So yes, it's going to take some time to get that studio space set up. And then it was always a dream of mine to have a studio space on my block or on my premises. And it's really exciting. So I can work from home. And of course, all of the readings that are coming through that people are purchasing from my website, that also helps me in turn as well. So if you know someone that would like a natal chart reading, it could be a birthday present. It could be, just you wanting to do a reading for someone else. I'm happy to conduct that reading as well if you want me to look at someone else's chart. Because really what it is really the fundamental blueprint of a person's psychology. And it's really interesting to me when I meet people that are very religious. I have a lot of kickback from religious people about my work being involved in this level of spirituality and occult. They really fear it. And I understand where the fear comes from, but fundamentally, if I was out in the world, just throwing it out there, and I was starting a business, or if I was going to consider marrying someone, like a real monogamous marriage, and building a life with a partner, I would want to know about their psychology. I would want to look into their chart. And it goes both ways as well. You know, I have also had some business people reach out to me as well, because they've given me the details of their enemies. You know, there's no friends in commerce. Yeah. So one of the things people don't understand much is that a lot of these bigger businesses, very big corporations, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of them, the CIA, the FBI, things like that, they all have psychics on tap. Okay. They all have mystics and witches and sages and real occultists that conduct remote viewing sessions or can do readings on their enemies to find out where their enemies' weaknesses are. Okay, so that's the thing. Once you understand someone's psychology and you know what they want, you know what motivates them, the beauty of and the dangers of real astrology natal chart readings is that you can also access your enemy's weaknesses as well. And so this is a superpower in a way, because then you'll know how to destroy your enemy. And that's why it's said that millionaires and billionaires hire astrologers for this level of work. And that's ultimately, as a person, as an artist, as a mystic, as a witch, as, you know, and whatever label you want to slap on it, doing this level of work is that if God existed, in my viewpoint, just sharing it, that I wouldn't have this gift if it wasn't for a reason. If God existed and I was made by God, why did God give me this ability? All right. So I see it as everyone out there has to make a living. If you're working for some kind of bank corporation or a company that profits off trapping people and is really spiritually filthy, then everything we do has a level of causality. All right. So a lot of people think that what they're really, you know, working for a company that really looks after people and stuff like that, it's worded in a way to make them think that they're really making a good difference. But in reality, they're just working for an evil company. All right. So a lot of people like to judge people that do this level of work or look down at them. And to be really honest, when it comes to any level of astrology, understanding the planetary correlations, understanding this level of spirituality, and getting the information and condensing it in a way that is relatable and understandable for an average person to get the upper hand on another person, this is a huge advantage. All right. So to dismiss it as witchy or nonsensical is actually really, really ignorant. And I have said it once, and I will say it again. The spiritual forces, the angels, the demons, the lower astral, the celestial world, the higher world of heaven, hell, it's all there. It has always been there. And it will not be going away anytime soon. Your ignorance of this way of being, by the way, is not my problem, because either way you will be affected by it when you get to a process called karma loka. Okay, so when you have the death experience, everything that you've said, done, and projected onto another creature or human, it all comes back on you. Okay, and this can be unbelievably excruciating. All right, so I'm just merely sharing this with you and making people somewhat aware that this is very real. I take this very seriously. And me opening up myself on this level to the public is also something that I feel is a new aspect to myself, doing this level of work publicly. So if you have booked me for an astrological natal chart reading, I will be conducting that within 10 working days. I have mentioned that before, is that I don't rush into these things. Now, I have had some people message me, send in their details with it, and ask me for a reading or for a spiritual consultation that they would like to book with me via a phone call. Now, I do recommend that if you are booking me for a phone call, that you need to record the conversation with me, because we're going to cover many things. And so when I tune into your frequency through the phone, through your photograph, through your details, through the numbers, and through the energy, I don't know what I'm going to get. Okay, anything could come through. When I'm deliberately tuning in with your permission, this is what you wanted me to do. That's what I'm going to give you. So in a way, I'm kind of merely just the counterpoint or the messenger in between the spiritual world to you. I'm acting on behalf as a conduit, if you will, or a medium. So a medium, in the word medium, is something that is applied or application of something. Say if you're an artist and someone asks you, what medium are you working with? Well, are you working in charcoal? Are you working in pencil? Are you working in the oil paints? I'm the medium for this information. Your level of being able to interpret that or understand it is not part of my concern. I'm just simply acting on behalf of you to conduct that information and bring it forth in a way that is relatable to you. Now, I don't share everything. That's one of the things that I've learned. Just because I can, or just because you may be able to, that doesn't mean that we do it. Okay? I want to make it really clear is that truth is very, very dangerous to someone who's living in a lie. I have shared this with you before in other conversations, because if someone builds their whole life on a lie and you come along and expose that and dismantle that, at a certain point, if they're so far embedded in something that isn't real, they're not going to be a vibrational match to be able to get out of that easily, particularly if they're lying, cheating, living a double life, have kids, procreated. All of this stuff comes back on them anyway. Any level of dishonesty always comes back on a person in one way or another. Okay? So to just be like giving people information and saying, "Bleh," like there it is, deal with it. Yes, there is power in that. Yes, there is truth in this, but I have to also consider where someone's mental ability is to be able to handle reality. At the moment in the world, we have, particularly with a lot of wokey culture and leftist ideologies and very obscured attack on reality, that we see like a very distorted lens. What we're now seeing here, particularly in the Western world, are people that are kind of stuck in an echo chamber of a bubble that they've created. Okay? And so an echo chamber is that's exactly what it is. It's an echo of something that they are trying to reaffirm to themselves, that they're kind of creating a bubble within reality. So objective reality and reality are very different things, but moving into completely objective reality completely distorts you from reality. So for example, what I'm saying is there are rules and laws here in the physical world that cannot be just easily broken. Can they be bent for a period of time? Of course they can. For example, the law of gravity. If you hold something, if I was to hold a weight above my foot and drop it from my hands, what do you think is going to happen? Law of gravity, the law of conservation of energy. I can't create energy. Humans create nothing. We only transfer energy and ideas. All ideas are built on top of something that came before it. nothing equals nothing. Okay? So these are fundamental universal laws, and one of them is the law of identity. Just because I said something is so doesn't make it so. I have a dog. She is a dog. Saying that she is a cat doesn't make her a cat. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when we have people that are in this level of consciousness, coming in and just blowing that apart can be very dangerous if they don't have the tools to be able to handle reality. All right, so this is really serious stuff. Okay, so if I meet someone and there's no presence of spirituality, it's very common these days. There's no presence of anything in the material world. Everything is based on how much they make, how much they can get, this type of thing. They're already so far embedded in a material consciousness that to try and explain to them the cause and effects of things, they're not a vibrational match to that. Okay, so I hope that this is kind of making sense. So certain people will never be able or be willing or wanting to actually hear truth. They just want to hear what they want to hear. And so we have to also really consider that. And I really work with this as well. When I meet people, you probably, if you're listening to this podcast now, you can't go deep with a lot of these people. It's kind of just like dipping your toe in the water and just seeing, and assessing, is it worth going into a conversation? Is this person going to be able to understand what I'm talking about? Because if they've reached a certain point of like age within their life and they haven't figured out that there is a spiritual world that is the blueprint that the physical world is built on, and there's something behind all of this, there's a real purpose and a real meaning behind all of this, then, I mean, how far could you ever really go with that person? So this is where we're at, and I hope that this is making sense. Okay, so in relation and in the context of what I'm trying to say here is that everyone's on different levels of consciousness, and you can only really meet someone from where they are in their level. All right? Not all humans are equal, not all demons are equal, not all animals are equal, not all angels are equal. Everything's on different levels. All right? Humans tend to want to bring something that will be the closest vibrational match to where they are, always. So, for example, if someone's really sad and they're in that sadness, you have to meet them at that sadness. Okay, if someone's really happy and a really happy, bubbly person, they will want to bring you up to that level of happiness with them. We all meet each other where we're all at. All right? So you can't meet something that's in the opposite of something, because there's no way that the other person can validate that other thing. If it's so foreign, they've got nothing in common, they can't understand it. Because in order to see something, we have to understand what it is. All right? I hope this isn't getting too meta, but I'm just trying to explain that. Yeah, so we meet each other at different levels of consciousness. So you'll find a stupid person, an idiot, will always date and marry another idiot. Okay? We only meet each other from where we're at, because it's called mirroring. It's what humans do. All right? So a deceitful person will meet probably another person that will have an aspect of themselves that will also be deceitful, if not directly, but indirectly in some other way. There's no way around it. This is the world, the matrix, the way that it's built. It's all based on vibration and energy cannot lie. All right. So trying to lie to an intuitive person or an empath is just ridiculous. It's embarrassing. Okay. Because we can see through it. All right. So I hope this made sense. I know I'm kind of going on a little bit on a tangent, but I'm just sharing this with you. So, I will be working through the next batches of emails that have come through. So if you would like to book me for a 1-hour spiritual consultation where we will talk about anything, and I mean anything that you want, I will go there with you. Okay. and I will share my knowledge. We'll go into that. It could be astrology, it could be the charts, it could be you just wanting to know about different things. I'm happy to share that with you. But as a modern man in this world, I do not share my energy or my time or my knowledge freely other than this channel unless I am paid. Okay? And that's only fair. And I try and make my prices as fair as I can. So you can book me for the 1 hour consultation. I will call you, you record it, and then you keep that recording and you can go back to it when you need to. If you lose a recording, it's beyond my control. It's not my problem. If for whatever reason I conduct the natal chart report, I give you the reading, you download the file and then you lose it or you accidentally delete it, I'm sorry, I can't go back. I don't keep any of these files. Everything I do is completely, and I mean completely, confidential. You can share anything with me and it will be between us. That is my word, that is my bond. Okay, so people are coming to me with some very gnarly stuff. By the way, a lot of people that are hiding things, a lot of sex offenders, people that have extorted people in businesses or run non-for-profit businesses and extorted things, people that are very spiritually filthy, people that cheat on their partners, live double lives, this type of thing, a lot of pedophiles. These types of people never, ever want to come to someone like me. They run from me as quickly as they can. And they usually, a very strong sign when you meet someone, just for the record, that really discredits any level of spiritual worker on this level. They generally won't even acknowledge that as something that's even real. They won't acknowledge it because it is the one thing that they would really, really fear, is that someone else can access information about what they have done without their permission. That is terrifying to people that are trying to hide things. All right. So that's one of the biggest red flags, or one of the biggest exposing factors of people that are hiding things, is that they discredit and deny people that can actually conduct a reading, that can find out that information that they are not wanting to be uncovered. Okay. And that's a lot of the Machiavellian scale people, a lot of the psychopaths and things like that. They wouldn't come to me for a reading in general. The only way a psychopath would come to someone like me is if they were trying to use me to get intel on their enemy, or if they were trying to use me of some way to benefit themselves or gain something. All right, they wouldn't be coming just to do some level of self-explanation back to them, because as far as they're concerned, they know all about themselves, they know what they want, they know who they are, and a narcissist doesn't really operate anything deeper in the realm of just operating purely on desire and what they want. All right, so self-reflection and self-actualization is usually not something that type of personality would be attracted to, unless it was of benefit to them or to reinforce the false narrative or the mask that they wear. I hope that all made sense. So please reach out to me. You can book me from my website. So it is www.thealgoliathtarotdeck.com. My Instagram handle did change last year, so it is now algoliath_artist. If you would like, you can just directly email me. I am sitting on the emails now, so I'm looking at them myself. I don't have someone else managing them. I'm here. I will read it. I will look into the questions that you're asking me. Please be patient with me. Like, there have been incidences here as well where someone has reached out to me and the timing isn't right, or it's not time for their reading yet. They're asking for something that I go in there, I look at it, and it feels like something else isn't quite right here. Your time isn't right to book me now. Let's conduct a reading in a few months. Something else has to happen in your timeline first, then you can come to me. Sometimes that happens. And because I truly have your best interests at heart and I really want to help, because me providing the most accurate level of work to you helps you also help me in building more clients and referring more people to me. Because ultimately, if I was doing 5 or 6 of these a day, then obviously I can sustain myself pretty comfortably, which will also enable me to be able to produce more readings for the public and for people in turn. All right. So that's ultimately my game plan. I'm not interested in working for a company or a corporation or working like so much out in the outside world. As a lot of us people on this path age, a lot of us, it can go pretty dark. A lot of them suicide, a lot of them reject society. We end up in a hut out in the forest. We try and get away from people, that type of thing, living in the bush with the animals, that type of thing. Very common for mystics. Okay, some of us can even go quite crazy and quite insane. So I have to keep a very strong boundary between going that way when you are exposed to this level of darkness within readings and with people, because people naturally these days are very left leaning on the left hand path. A lot of them don't even know it. A lot of them think in their head that they're really helping people and they're good people, but they're actually just virtue signaling, and they are in the opposite of what they really think they are. So there's a lot of self-delusion, a lot of self-denial going on out there on record levels at this point. All right. So being exposed to that on a daily basis can also cripple someone's soul. So I have to have very strong boundaries. And so with those boundaries, it would be like, we're not friends. This is a business arrangement. You've asked me to conduct this. I've given you back the information and reported back to you in that reading. And that is a business transaction. It doesn't mean that we're going to have daily banter and catching up and that type of thing on a weekly and we're friends and we chitty chat. If you've met me, you'll know that I have a very, very tight circle. And with that circle, if that person, even in my circle, they're not growing, they're not evolving, or it's not a vibrational match, I don't waste time with other people. I just move on and I get on with my game plan. All right. And you should too. All right. So I'm open to building friendships and relationships with people if it's right. But for the most part, this is a business. Okay. And I am, in a lot of ways, that mystic. I'm the witch in the forest that the priest comes to see. But at the same time, the priest wants to condemn me, put me in hell, punish me and kill me, when they're the ones that are knocking on my door. It's a lot of that. A lot of that's gone on in my life. A lot of that, in a way, it's kind of a not the divine or the dark feminine, but in a lot of ways, in that way, throughout my 20s and 30s, and as I'm coming into my 40s, a lot of closeted men have come to try and use me or abuse me or get something from me on a sexual level, because I'm the embodiment of the parts of themselves that they're trying to hide and are ashamed of. And so it's like the person that they fear the most that can access them is the person at the same time that they're so magnetically attracted to at the same time, but will never admit it because it's all underground, it's all a secret. So I hope that made sense. But yes, that has been a big theme in my life. People condemn the witch, but at the same time are all fascinated by the witch. And most of the time, the archetype of the witch is a woman that is working with the lands, that is, a healer, a woman that works with the herbs and works with the planetary correlations. She just doesn't fit into a conventional society that is going to do what she's told and follow the rules. And secretly, people are jealous of that, but at the same time, they revere it and hate it at the same time and fear the witch at the same time. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a witch, because I am a man, and in my mental capacity, we know femininity, the feminine, the divine feminine, and the divine masculine are two separate things that are not the same. All right. So I'm just clarifying this as well. A man and a man can never be a woman. A woman can never be a man. These energies incarnated here into the physical world for different reasons, for the soul to have that experience through that projection. It's not something that you can just flip a switch and change, okay? Because these energies are meant to complement each other. They're not meant to be in competition with each other. Okay, that's Luciferic consciousness disguising itself as virtue and confusion. That's another story for another day. But I'm just sharing some of this with you now so you can kind of get a grasp of me saying thank you, thank you, thank you for booking me for these readings. I really value them. And I do have a lot of love and concern for people that are reaching out to me. When you reach out, my door's always open. If you want to book me again for a follow-up appointment, you have to follow the process, go back to the website, book me again, and then we go from there, because that's how this works, all right? Because it wouldn't be a fair transaction now, would it, if I'm getting nothing in return when I'm giving you sometimes the key to the kingdom, all right? And people ask me, well, if you have the key to the kingdom, then why are you doing what you do? I'm going to answer that very directly right now. The reason why is because all humans are of service to each other, not service to self. Okay? Do you understand? If I had the keys to the kingdom, I would just go put on all my money that I have on a horse at the races and get tons of money, or I would just get the Lotto tickets. Wrong. How many witches do you see do that? You can't, because that's personal gain. So as humans, we are supposed to, I know this might sound crazy, we're actually supposed to live for each other, not live for ourselves. Living for ourselves is the left-hand path. That's all about me and what I can manifest and what I can get and that type of thing. That doesn't go very far in the spiritual realm because it can't create. It's just taking, right? So what you give is directly proportional to what you get. That's actually the give and take and the flow of life and money and energy. One can distort this for a period of time, but unfortunately, when you don't respect the balance of law, then usually that doesn't last very long now, does it? Just saying. So I hope that answered your question. All service is service to others, not to self. When you operate in your higher self, then you are serving others as you were meant to. Okay, and this comes in many different ways and forms. Everyone's gifts are proportionate to what they give to the world. All right, so I hope that all made sense. I know this is a lot to take in. It can be quite a bit for a lot of people to comprehend this. To me, it's pretty straightforward. I like to keep it really simple, but this is how I work. This is how my readings work. And if you want to book me, I'm available, and I will be taking on more readings and more consultations over the phone. And as always, wishing you a fantastic week. I hope that you're all really well. I look forward to hearing from you. Reach out and book me. Just send in the email. Let me know what you want to do, and I will work with you. And let's work on helping you achieve your goals. And I'm just the middleman. Okay, lots and lots of love. All right. Be strong and be true.